Bible.
This is in the Bible.
Of course it is.
This is in the Bible.
Are you aware that there were 15? Now let me ask you something. Are you aware that there were 15 other major religions? This is history now.
Okay.
Not conjecture, history. There were 15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion, which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect. That's the way I am as a teacher.
Do you know mermaids are actually biblical? I will explain what one of the most important missing books from the Bible says about mermaids, and why throughout history there have been countless sightings of what is believed to be a mythical creature known as the mermaid. These creatures have been documented in several ancient cultures, with each culture labeling the beings with different names. However, they each possess the same overt appearance. So we must begin asking ourselves how real these creatures actually are. And when we do, we can find the answer because there is a secret missing book that's a part of the Bible that speaks about mermaids and who they actually are. Let me explain. There were 2,000-year-old biblical scrolls found in a cave in Qumran, and these scrolls are known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. These ancient scrolls contain the biblical text we know of today, including the Book of Genesis and the Book of Isaiah, to name a few. However, there was one book that was completely hidden from the Bible for decades. This book is known as the Book of Enoch. This book adds on to the topics the Holy Bible doesn't go into depth with, such as the biblical creatures.
This is a great question. So it says, why do most spiritual teachers say that the world is an illusion? What do they mean by this word? I understand that nothing is real, but invented and does not exist. So I think whenever people say that this world is an illusion, they're pointing to the fact that this physical reality is like a dream. So just like when you're in bed and you're asleep and you're dreaming that you're somewhere else, they're saying that this reality that we're in, real life, is exactly the same thing. When we are asleep and dreaming that we are walking by a mountain, we call that an illusion because where we really are is a bed. We are not moving at all. Another interesting thing about dreaming is that no matter what happens in the dream, there could be danger, somebody trying to kill you, you jump off a building. No matter what happens in the dream, you are absolutely safe in your bed. That shows you that it's an illusion. It is the same thing for this physical reality for real life. We are having a temporary human experience, and one day when the body dies and we find ourselves on the other side, we will see that the body and our human experience was an illusion in the sense that we don't die. We are forever. We are infinite. We are eternal as the soul, as the spark of God. The problem with the word illusion is that many people start to think that illusion means it's fake, that it doesn't exist, and that's going too far. Illusion just means that it is not the whole picture. Even when you are asleep in your bed and dreaming that you are somewhere else, that dream is an experience. And so you can't say that that experience doesn't exist, it's not real. So you could say that all experience is real, all experience is true, but depending on what level that experience is at, we may call one experience an illusion but not the other. And I think that in itself is an illusion if you think about it. It's an illusion because it's trying to categorize only certain experiences, certain realities as true and others as false, as illusions. Some say that the universe that we're in has 12 dimensions. So we are in 3D, there's 4D, 5D, all the way to 12D. Now, to say that 10D is an illusion because 12D is higher doesn't make sense. The same thing for all the other dimensions. They are all true. They are different expressions of consciousness. Some people say that the world is an illusion for two different reasons. They are looking down on physical reality like it's inferior to the spirit realm, to other dimensions, but also because they're trying to escape this reality. If nothing is random in this universe and everything exists in mathematical perfection, then the fact that physical reality exists means that there is a very high purpose to it. So when the idea that everything is an illusion is used in a positive way, it's really pointing to detachment. Being detached doesn't mean that you don't care about anything. It means that you are able to observe something, like a witness. So if you have anger coming up in your body and angry thoughts, the awareness inside of you is able to watch it like a movie instead of being possessed by it. So when the idea that the world is an illusion is used to your benefit, it is being used to improve your human experience, because detachment is what creates space between you and your suffering, so that improves your life. When the idea that the world is an illusion is used in a negative way, it is being used to escape the human experience, or to see human life, physical reality, as trivial, as unimportant.
Sounds interesting. Scary encounter with orcas. Oh, these guys were out there swimming and they had experience with some orca whales. And this guy seems a little bit frightened, not knowing that maybe these orca whales were up to spreading good vibes and love, you see? Just happy that they saw some human there, and it's been quite some while. You see, they're always living in water and humans on land, and they visit the oceans and lakes occasionally, of which for some people like me and most people from this side of the world and in our village, they have never had an encounter or gone to where there is large water bodies, you see? But this good vibes guy, they are there. And now they see these big fishes here and they are probably wondering what's up, you see? But I am pretty sure they mean no harm. Just good vibes, man, you see? Because if they meant harm, this woman could hardly survive, you see? This is their territory. Simple bind rune for home protection. Do you believe in this stuff called runes and something like that? We've been seeing them in different episodes. You leave your thoughts on it, man, you see? Same to this stuff here that we see, and allegedly this is way up above us, you see? Somewhere where it can even record the whole ground.
Very interesting realization about why every single light worker's life has never been easy and we never seem to fit in anywhere. When we were at the soul level, picking and choosing what our life would be like, what body we would go into, and that body would have very specific trauma, ancestral trauma, and would have all kinds of limitations put on it. When we were at that level, choosing what we would experience, we were very specific about one thing. And that is, I'm not going to choose a life in which I'm given opportunities to constantly boost my ego and be in my ego. Be in situations that the ego loves and that inflates the ego. And you know when somebody says that person is really succeeding at life, they're doing a great job at life, what they really mean is that that person is fulfilling all of society's standards of what it means to be a worthwhile human being. That person has a great career, they make lots of money, they're financially independent, they have a romantic relationship, they have a nice house, a nice car, they have degrees. All of these things is called succeeding at life. And so what did we do before we were born? We said, we're not going to experience any of that for a very long time because we're not going down into the earth to constantly boost and inflate our egos. We're here for a very specific purpose, to change and transform the planet by raising the consciousness on the planet. But because we agree to incarnate into human bodies, still our ego is so strong that we hate every second of being a failure at life, being a failure according to society's standards. And think about it. If we were not a failure and we simply fit in and everything was pretty much normal for us, we wouldn't be able to raise the consciousness of the planet. And so this is why our lives are so difficult for so long. And of course, when you've done so much healing over many years, then you have light workers. These are usually spiritual teachers who are succeeding. They have a wonderful business, lots of money, a wonderful partner. That happens for all light workers. But our journey is extremely difficult and dark for a very long time. And so when we are a failure in everybody's eyes, this is what slowly breaks down our ego and dissolves our ego. And this is the opportunity that other people don't have when they've always fit in and their life is pretty much normal. They continue to have a very strong ego that is not being dissolved because their life is normal enough that their ego is not really challenged all that much. And so the irony and the paradox is that the bigger of a failure that you are to everybody else that is asleep, the more that you specifically chose to be that failure in order to break down your own ego. And so for light workers, especially as we're healing and going through so many shadows and all this stuff, we're pretty much failing at everything when it comes to being a human on the planet. We either have a low-paying job or we're jobless and we feel completely lost and we feel like a loser and a failure. A lot of us are lone wolves and we've never had a romantic relationship, or you've had romantic relationships but they've all been a disaster. You've never had many friends, and when you're deep into your spiritual journey, you lose the few friends that you have. And so now you can't go anywhere. There's nowhere for you to socialize. And you see everybody else that's normal going to parties, going out drinking. And so you feel like an alien. But again, why are you this alien so different than most people on the planet? Because you didn't come here to the planet to just play out what has always been happening on the planet. So when you were choosing your life as the soul, you literally said, I'm going to choose to be a failure down there on the planet. Everybody will look at me and think that there's something very wrong with me because I'm going to fail at everything. And all the time I spend in this so-called failure is my boot camp, is the university that I'm in order to become the light worker that I want to be on the planet. Without all that failure, your ego would be intact. And you would be very proud of yourself, and you would think that you succeed at life. And so how on earth could you shake up and transform and raise the consciousness on the planet if you are fitting into the very thing that needs to be transformed? You wouldn't be able to. So literally, the more you fail, the more that you are succeeding at this light worker university, because the more you fail, the more your ego has no other alternative but to dissolve. And thank God you are failing. Thank God I'm failing. But do you know what we're failing at? We're failing at successfully plugging ourselves into an extremely sick system and structure called the false matrix. Thank God we can't plug ourselves in there no matter how hard we've tried. We can't force ourselves to be in a romantic relationship with someone who is not right for us, who is toxic, just so that other people can look at us and not pity us that we're alone and we're pathetic. We've done our best to work at different jobs, but every single one of them bothered us immensely, drained us of our energy, and made us feel like robots, like machines. And we cannot fit into that. It just doesn't work. And again, thank God. We've never had many friends, and now maybe we have 0 friends. And thank God for that, because we naturally don't accept mediocre relationships. Some people have 300 so-called friends, and not one of them is a true connection. Not one of them would help you in your darkest moments when you need the person the most. And so think about it. Do you want 300 fake friends? And you want to call this success because people look at that number and think you're a success? Or do you want 0 friends because it's better to be by yourself than in bad company? And the list can go on and on. Every time that people are so-called succeeding, they're succeeding at a very sick world and structure. And so we cannot succeed like them, because if we did, we would be feeding the very thing we're here to transform. So again, I want to thank you for failing. And I want to thank myself for failing. Thank God we're failing, because we're here to change it all.
Холотропное дыхание – это практика, которая заключается в быстром чередовании вдохов и выдохов. Процесс длится от пары минут до нескольких часов и изменяет баланс между кислородом и углекислым газом в организме. Это дыхательная практика, которая основывается на гипервентиляции легких за счет учащенного дыхания. Она полезна при комплексной терапии распространенных психических состояний, таких как тревога и депрессивные расстройства.
Hey, my friends.
Remember,
did you see that guy?
You all have guides. You all have help. You all have friends. You are never alone. Never alone. Never alone. Unless you want to play the alone experience. Then all those guides and all those friends will allow you to believe you are alone. But they will always be there supporting you in your belief that you are alone. So you are still never alone. Remember that, and be alone when you want to be safely, knowing that you are never alone in your aloneness. We thank you and bid you a fond, exciting, and creative good day. But I guarantee you you're worthy. Because if you weren't worthy of your existence, you wouldn't exist. Because creation doesn't make mistakes.
An actual eclipse recorded. Oh, my friends, this is how it goes down. At this point, when we move, is staring. Oh, this is crazy. The moon breaks the ring. Which ring? Oh my God. And the ring passes through the moon. Oh, ho, 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 ho. So, let's see. What is really going on? Do you know? Do you understand? It looks like the sun is 180 degrees or something like that, coming back around the moon. Please explain what we are seeing here if you can understand. Please do.
Have you all
and
seen
hit the
this?
like
A
button.
photographer captured this about 12 hours ago. The Statue of Liberty, the torch. And we all know that the Statue of Liberty is not a Statue of Liberty. It wasn't a gift from France. We all know that the Statue of Liberty is a representation of Lucifer. There are plenty of paintings that look just like it. The Colossus of Rhodes looks just like it. There's so many representations, but that is Lucifer. The torch he is holding is the torch because Lucifer is the light bearer. Okay, look at the face on the Statue of Liberty. That's not a woman. That's not a beautiful woman. That is Lucifer. That is a picture of Lucifer. All right, and he's holding that torch. He has chains on his feet. It's representing Lucifer being released from the pits of hell. And look at this photo that was taken 12 hours ago. The lightning struck right there. Bang. Isn't that crazy? Lightning striking on Lucifer's torch. That is very symbolic of just a lot that's going on right now. The eclipse is about to happen. Weird things are happening. People are seeing demon faces, demon ears. Lots happening. But this is for your entertainment. Hit follow.
No, man. That lightning was very, very,
My
very.
name is Cycinic and I want to teach you everything I know about psychokinesis. First of all, I want to say how amazed I am that my content is reaching so many of you out there. It makes me really happy to see how many of you want to embark in the journey of self-mastery. Social media were created to distract us from our true potential, but it appears that a few of us are managing to turn things around and actually use these tools for good. I do still believe that we are spending too much time pumping our ego instead of focusing on our training, but at the same time, if I can teach you some good techniques while challenging the skeptics and disrupting the negative flow of these terrible zaps, I guess it is worth it to put the time and effort. So today I want to talk about feeling the flow and developing a state of transcendent energy flow. I spoke about flow in my previous videos already, but it occurs to me that maybe I wasn't clear enough. To perform any kind of kinesis, you need to first be able to feel the flow of energy around you. You need to learn how to embrace it and how to navigate it. When you move your body, you don't think about movement, but movement is somehow happening. That's because since the day of your birth you have been developing your muscles and brain to the point that movement is now second nature. That doesn't mean that there is no will or thought behind movement. It simply means that you can move your body so easily the translation between consciousness and movements is basically invisible, imperceptible. Unfortunately, when it comes to telekinesis, you were not trained since birth, so now you have to start from zero. But instead of having a blank slate like you had when you were a baby, you now have to really focus on gaining control over a flow of energy you don't even know existed. Worse than that, a flow of energy you were taught doesn't exist. Imagine telling a newborn baby that walking is impossible, that walking doesn't exist. Sure, if left alone they might do it instinctively, but you were not left alone. You have been growing in a society that purposely wants to keep you from developing your true potential. Now here I come is like someone telling you, you have an extra arm that you have never used. All the muscles are in atrophy and your brain doesn't even know how to feel that extra limb. The reason why I am telling you this is because I want you to understand that these first steps are not going to be easy. You are learning to walk again, but as an adult. You see, our consciousness is everything and nothing. You can choose to never walk or you can choose to run. You can stay in your body or you can fly to the next plane of existence. There are no limits, only the one you create. If you have never walked before, the first step is going to be painful. You will feel every sensation from the tip of your toe to the back of your skull, but after a while you will learn to ride that flow and learn to control it, because you know that it is all part of it and you are part of the everything. Like a surfer riding a wave, you know how to follow the flow of water and not go against it. The more you do it, the more you blur the line between being transported with no rhyme or reason and transporting your being with full control. As I said before, if you're a beginner, I would start with aerokinesis, simply because feeling the flow of air and learning how to guide it in the direction that you want is probably the easiest path to understand this concept of flow of energy. Don't just follow that gust of wind. Try instead to feel that gust of wind as simply yourself. So next time you practice telekinesis, don't try to move the object but move yourself instead. I hope that this helps. Stay safe, my friends, and keep on staying on your journey of self-mastery.
Oh man, good vibes out there. Hit the like button by the way.
Let's take our time with it, and then we have to come back anyway. So.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I can't hear Greg.
Yeah, this is worth a stop.
This is like a baleen whale, and you can still see the baleen.
Yes, the baleen is still there. Oh, this is great.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Someone who has Twitter, tell Twitter if you don't have one.
Somebody tell Twitter. Twitter is with us right now.
Oh my
They
goodness.
See it.
Look at them.
Wow. This is incredible.
So, yeah,
Talk
this
about
is
When you zoom on
the
phones,
dinner
they look
bell
like they have
ringing,
the
right?
specs they might
We are
already
so
have.
excited up here, just
Greg,
saying.
can I zoom?
Yes, come and
let's
get
go ahead
it.
and zoom in.
Yeah. Dinner is
Do we
served.
have any
And if,
bone-eating worms?
Bridge, if we could track a line back.
So
I don't see any red tentacles or
I
anything yet.
don't. I see some brown fuzz on the vertebrae.
Yeah.
I mean, on the ribs. So those might be
Yeah,
the
approximately.
Oh, this is so cool.
I think that is
50
them.
meters,
amazing.
450 meters.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at the Argus
you're
view.
right. You're right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
check
look
out
at the Argus view.
Can I so perfect.
So what do we estimate the length of that?
How long is Hercules?
2.5 meters.
Well,
2.5 meters
in length from forward to back. Yeah.
So this looks like maybe a 4 to 5 meter whale.
Yeah, yeah.
It is still soft tissue.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There is.
Definitely was something big
All
in
right.
the meso.
Well, people watching, we'll definitely come back here if we're swinging a little too far and spend some time here. This is definitely worth it.
Yeah, mark the target.
I wonder if this
and,
is some of those
we'll go past
octopus'
it and
last
come
meal
back.
before they make their way over.
Ah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, we should get the sexes up.
We'll come back. Don't worry.
Okay, so
There's
what's
still the fat
happening?
at the tail.
There's fat at the tail.
Goodbye, octopus.
Okay, this is awesome.
Just partially digested still.
This will actually be
In the
pretty
thick
good
of it.
because on
So
the way
come up.
we'll go down the slope, and then on the way back we'll be able to go hit that slope back
Look
up.
at the sediment to the left of the whale.
Yeah,
It's
there's
got-
something on it growing.
Yeah.
There might be some of those worms.
Yeah, bacteria mats, worms, something.
Yeah, I'm thinking bacterial mat of some kind.
Look at
Look at
Oh.
Oh,
that.
that's not
Worms.
bacterial mat.
No, they are
That's
worms.
worms.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So yesterday we were talking about seasonality in the deep sea and how episodic falls of food are a bonanza, I think is the word I use.
Bonanza,
So if
yep.
you come around
And here's a
positive
bonanza.
This is a,
and
yeah.
basically spin around, and then you can get me
Oh,
back
this
in
is
gear.
great.
Just think the amount of calories in a whale here. I mean, the equivalent of so much marine snow. It's hard to even compare.
Oh, look
you
at
know?
the blubber on the right side.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
even digested
that's
all the
right.
way. This
I
is
know.
Oh, yeah.
so cool
This
to
is
see it
still
partway
pretty
through.
fresh.
Okay, so what's happening is the ship is tracking a line and moving along as we're moving towards the cone. So the ship is moving Argus away. Hercules only has a certain amount of tether away from Argus. So as the ship is moving, we can't
And
just
those are
immediately
worms
stop.
in there.
So we're going to
baby.
probably pull away from this a little, but we're in the process of stopping and turning the ship back around and coming right here.
Yeah, we're about 450 meters, so the ship is now coming back. So we're going to get pulled towards the ship and then back. We'll do a little yo-yo.
I'm surprised
and
there's
then
no
we'll come back
sharks.
here.
So whale falls are a really cool way to think about the ecological idea of succession. So after the whale, look at the bone.
So what is the fuzz on those bones?
Yeah, the fuzz on those bones are, let's see, the
Hydroids?
common name I remember hearing was the bone-eating snot flower worm. But the genus is Ossidax.
Ossidax, yep.
So these are worms that have symbiotic associations with bacteria. So they have no more gut themselves. Instead, they have these rootlets that burrow into the bone, and then the bacteria are able to metabolize the fats and oils that are in the bone itself.
Wow.
Yeah, my colleague at Imbari, you know Shannon Johnson,
Shannon
right?
Johnson.
She's worked a lot with these bone-eating worms. She's been a part of naming several of them. One of them was after Pink Floyd, actually. I forget the name off the top of my head. I'll find it. But yeah, she would be going, we're all going nuts, but she would be going even more nuts. Right
Get
now.
on the live feed. Tune
know.
in. Well, there
All
it's
right,
seen
we're
right
about
now.
to get pulled off.
Okay.
So
we'll be coming back.
And the ship
was
has
it,
already
has it
started coming
been
back.
generally known that octopus are scavengers?
There's the tug.
Yes.
No, that's a great question. I mean, I'm sure they're mostly predators, but why not be opportunistic?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man. Oh, interesting stuff there in this nature. And then there's this stuff also, which is quite fascinating and believable, and you wonder what this might be. Looks like some giant spaceship or one of those things that are usually hovering around in the sky, which look like disc plates. And the one had fallen on the ground, you see? And it's crazy, man. What do you think those things are? Oh, man, do you think that is man-made or alien-made?